So, who are you? What's your name?
I am Jude Cox.
That is,
That's my name.
it's true. Um, where are you from?
I am from Slidell, Louisiana, which is like the next city over from New Orleans.
Mm-hmm. And so you have been doing some kind of Doordash or Uber Eats
Yes,
or
I've been
something?
doing DoorDash for about a year now.
Nice. Is that your primary source of income?
For the moment, yes.
Okay. All right. Let's take a break right now. I'm not sure what to say next, so I'm
Okay,
just
yeah,
gonna.
take your time. I'm assuming you can edit all this, right? You're gonna edit it down. Okay, all right.
Um, all right. All right. Okay. Um. So is that your primary source of income?
Mm-hmm. It is.
Okay. Um. Ooh, I don't know. Like, what do you think about that?
Okay, well, I can. Want me to make up some questions? Like, how does it compare to other jobs?
Mm.
What kind of income are you making?
Yeah.
Have you considered other services? What's your day-to-day experience like? Have you had any like individual customer experiences? Where do you DoorDash?
Mm.
All kinds of stuff. What times are better? Do you notice like different stuff throughout the year? Stuff like that.
Those are all good questions. Wow.
How did you get into DoorDashing? Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you get into DoorDashing?
Well, about this time last year, I kind of needed some money, but with my current life situation in school and everything, I really just couldn't have like a regular job with set hours every week. And so my friend Duranze, he recently started DoorDashing, and I asked him about it, and he helped me get set up. So the good thing about DoorDash is you can pretty much make your own hours. There's no one time you have to do it, and you're not required to do it for a certain amount of time a week. You could do it like one time and just stop, and you'll be fine.
Nice. Um, so where do you go usually?
Usually, I go back to my hometown of Slidell to DoorDash because I've tried DoorDashing around here in New Orleans and Metairie,
Mm-hmm.
but the problem with that is the usually the distance between the restaurants and the residences I'm delivering to is usually quite high because in a big city everyone lives far apart from everything and it's long distances, long drives, busy. So when I go back home to Slidell, which is like a mid-sized city, I get a lot better results because I'm usually driving for shorter distances for usually the same amount of money.
Mm. Do you usually do it at night or during the daytime?
Well, over the summer, I would try and schedule it to do like from like lunchtime all the way until dinner. But if I had to say it's most profitable at nighttime around dinner time, it's a it's a bit spotty, like it's on and off during lunchtime, and it's pretty much not good to do it on breakfast time. Like if you really need the extra money, you can do it during breakfast, but it's just you're not gonna get a lot.
Mm-hmm. Um, what kind of money do you make doing that?
Well, it usually depends on the kind of day I'm having. But whenever I commit and have like a full day, usually I'd say, not including gas or anything, I'm making between $15 and $20 an hour.
Mm.
Sometimes more on a good day.
Mm-hmm. Um, this is kind of an oddball question, but what's the most interesting thing you've ever seen while door dashing?
Hmm. Well, I've had some. Well, if you want like a good story, I've had like some animal encounters on DoorDash. A lot of dog encounters.
Yeah.
Like one time, I just was delivering a pizza, and I knock on the door. I have the pizza, and a little kid opens the door, and right in front of me is the biggest pit bull I've ever seen, just staring at me, and my heart literally drops. I freeze because I don't know what this dog's gonna do, and the kid just grabs the pizza, says thank you. Pit bull's just standing there and just shuts the door.
Oh my god.
Then I've had other things where like I'm walking in and then there's a dog coming at me and I get back at the car and I gotta call like, hey, can you come get your dog? Like, you know.
Mhm. Mhm. Do a lot of people have dogs in Slido?
Yeah, a lot of people have dogs. A lot of dog encounters.
Mm. It's a dog eat dog world.
Ha ha ha.
Um, yeah. What do you think the world is gonna think about all this in like 10 years?
If I had to make a guess, it's probably as time goes on, it seems like door dashing is becoming worse over time.
Mhm.
Because I just feel like that's kind of that with all jobs. But I'm in like online DoorDash communities. People are talking about how it's harder to get good orders and how the rules keep changing and how it's harder to get slots. Well, sometimes you can dash any time of the day, but sometimes you have to schedule slots to dash. I've noticed that as time goes on, it's harder to get good slots.
Mm.
So, for what I think that is because is more people are door dashing. And so the more people that are on the road, the less opportunities are available to each individual door dasher. Like, I will have times where I get an alert that says, it's extremely busy in your city right now, go DoorDash, and I DoorDash, and I'm getting 0 orders, even though the busy level they have it on the app is at the max height,
Mhm.
because it's an oversaturation. So the more people learn about it, the worse it gets.
Right. I've heard that from other places as well, that it's kind of gotten less profitable over time.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Um, yeah. Kind of want to go broad here. Like, do you have any thoughts about the state of the world in general?
Of the world. Well,
Maybe.
still the world is not the best. I mean, prices are rising. It's harder to find decent work, so that's not awesome. I mean, I started doing DoorDash right before all the gas prices went up. So I was like, you know what, I'm making a lot of money, I'm really liking this. And now I'm a little more humbled now that gas, it's like $40 to fill up a tank when it was like 15 or so, like January this year.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, your tank costs eat directly into your DoorDash profits because they don't compensate you on that.
Mm-hmm. So with all these rising prices,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think that? Like, what do you think that means?
Well, for DoorDash, I think it means more people are going to try and do it because you can do DoorDash on top of a job you already have because it's schedule free. You can just do it whenever you're available. And so that's going to lead to more people doing it, and then it's going to make the individual experience for worse person worse overall. And then, what I can kind of see happening is that more people add on, and then it becomes worse. So then a lot of people drop off, and then it becomes good again,
Yeah.
and then people add on. It might just be a never-ending cycle.
Dang. Do you think that more jobs are going to become like gig-based like this?
I can see that, though. I know there's some like lawsuits or something to to force DoorDash to register its users as like actual employees.
Yeah.
Because I know that in California they do. Like in California, when you do DoorDash, you get paid like a set amount per hour on top of the money you're already getting. It seems like that's where they have it the best. Because you're a private contractor when you do DoorDash.
Right.
You're not employed by anybody. But yeah, this could definitely lead to like a rise in like gig-based jobs, because especially for like uneducated or like underexperienced people, because the only thing they checked for me is that if I had a license, and then if I had no like police record of anything, and so that's it. That's all I did, and I was able to start working. Very little like vetting besides that, and so these kind of jobs are very easy to get because all you need is a car. Then people already have cars, so.
I have a question about like the source of this job. Like, do you think more people are getting food delivered and stuff like that?
Well, me personally, even though I work for Doordash, I mean, not work for Doordash, I do Doordash, I would never order anything from Doordash. Because I think it's just, with the delivery fees, I think it's really just more worth it to go and get the food yourself, you know? Like, I really, maybe, if you have a lot of money, then I guess, like, it's a bit of a luxury thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would personally never. I think it's just a waste of money, because I will frequently get an order for something that's like half a mile away. It's like you could have walked there. Like one time I got the order that perplexes me the most is I ordered from this one local restaurant, and the restaurant was delivering to a business, like a order for a bunch of employees, and it was like 0.1 miles away. Like, after I got there, I took a picture of both the business and the restaurant in the same frame. Literally on the same street. Literally, their parking lots are right across from each other. I'm like, I mean, I guess if you can afford this, if you want to waste that money, go ahead. But, yeah.
I think part of the business model for DoorDash and this type of companies is that they just want to make it as commonplace and get people as used to ordering as possible. Just become normalized.
Dexter, something I would like to talk about. Ask me about like what the experience of it is like, because I have some good insightful stuff about that.
Okay, Jude, I'd like to hear about what your experience is like.
Like, you mean day-to-day door dashing? Like, what's it like?
Yeah.
Okay, so how it works is you have this app on your phone, the Dasher app, and it'll give you a GPS map, and it has red areas on the map of where the busy spots are. And whenever you're not currently taking an order, you will receive order opportunities. It will give you the order. I'll tell you the restaurant and how many miles do you need to drive for it, and it'll tell you how much money you're being offered for this order. Now, the thing is, since you're a private contractor, you're not obligated to do it. And so what you do is you take a look at it, and you can accept it or decline it. And more often than not, you decline it, because most of the time it's bad orders. Like usually it's like $3.5 to go like 5 miles, which really isn't worth it. My philosophy is the minimum order I'll take for any reason is $5, but a $5 has to be like a mile or less. I'll do a $6 for a mile and a half or less. I'll do a $7 for like 2 miles or less, or an $8 for 3 or less, and so on. But like you have this process of accepting and declining orders, but it'll show you an acceptance rate, which shows you the amount of the past 100 orders that you've accepted. Now, my acceptance rate is about 20%, and they really try and guilt you. Like, once your acceptance rate is under 50, it'll turn red. Like, oh no, it's red, what are you going to do? And they'll be like, if you get more than 50%, you'll have better orders, which from my research isn't really true. And they have something called the Top Dasher program, where if you have over a 70% acceptance rate, you will be allowed to dash whenever you want, no need for any schedules or anything. Now, you could technically dash when you want because the schedules launch at like 3 o'clock 1 week before, so if you just stay up and like right on the dot, you can usually get it. But this relieves that stress, or you have like a spur of the moment dash you want to do. But it's a big fraud, because to get it, you're going to have to lose money, because to get 70%, you'll have to take all these really, really crappy orders. Like, oh, for 6 miles get only $2.75, you know? And so I feel like there's a lot of manipulation and like almost lying that goes on to you. Because like my first few days of doing DoorDash, yeah, I took those orders. Like, oh no, they're going to do something bad to me if my acceptance rate goes down. But after looking at it online, no. All the highest earning dashers online, they have like 1, 2, 10% acceptance rates.
Yeah.
They try to manipulate you into delivering the worst possible orders.
I feel like they have so much access to all the information that goes on.
Mm-hmm. No, that's not even the worst of it. The worst of it is that as a way to try and trick you into taking more orders, I'm sorry, I don't want to swear, crappy orders. 1 out of every 3 or 4 orders you take, the amount of money you receive will actually be more. Like yesterday, I took a $14 order, and after I delivered it, surprise, it's actually $16.25. Mm-hmm. And so it'll condition you into taking lower orders just on the case of, oh, maybe this crappy order is actually a good order that we're just not telling you. So the money you see at the beginning is the minimum you're going to be paid. And about 30% of the time, you actually get more. And so this function of the DoorDash app serves no purpose other than to manipulate and condition the driver, which I think is a really horrible thing to do.
Yeah, that's totally what it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
What do they do if everybody says no to a particular order?
So when everyone says, how it works with the no order is that I believe they add 25 cents to the order and then give it to the next person available. And so it'll slowly add more money and keep going around. But I see this all the time on like I'm on like the DoorDash subreddit where people post about like the dashing they do. Mm-hmm. And I see all the time orders with no tips. We call them no tips. No tips. They will after they're prepared, they will take like an hour before they're delivered because nobody's accepting them.
Yeah.
Like, oh, $5 order for 12 miles? No one's taking that. So it's going to sit on like the McDonald's shelf and get cold as hell because no one's taking it.
Yeah. I see.
And you know, some people might have hard financial situations. They might not be pressured to tip, you know? I don't know your situation, but I mean, you are getting DoorDash. But that's besides that. That what DoorDash needs to be doing is just paying people a fair amount of money. Because, I mean, they're a massive corporation. They're making millions of dollars. They can definitely afford to pay us better.
Would you think it would be possible to have some sort of DoorDash union?
Well, you can't do a union because you're a private contractor. And so that's why there's like lawsuits and stuff trying to get them legally recognized as employees.
Yeah. I think there is something going on right now with like the FTC.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, here's the thing. I feel like it's a double-edged sword because I believe that if this goes through and we get marked as employees, then they're going to start becoming a lot more selective of who will be on the app. And that might lead to a lot of people being let off. Because I've DoorDashed very little since school started. I just do it when I have free time, but I did do it heavily during the summer. So if you're not doing it during a certain amount of time, they might just fire you. That's what I can imagine happening, because they're going to be stingy with their money.
Mm. Yeah, they would want to just select the most loyal.
Yeah, exactly, only the most loyal. And the appeal of DoorDash to me is that when I'm in school, I can just take a break from it and come back when I have a break.
Right, yeah.
So it's a double-edged sword. Like on one hand, they'll get treated a lot better, but on the other hand, they'll be a lot more picky with who stays on.
Right. Yeah. What would that even look like if you could somehow have some sort of...
I really don't even know, to be honest. I mean, I guess they would keep track of your hours and then pay you by the hours on top of any tips or anything you get.
Right. I'm going to look at this computer screen real quick. Oh, look at this. This is like people in my class posted their questions that they could ask, and one just says dogs.
Mm.
But you told some dog stories already.
I told some dog stories, yeah.
Do you have health insurance?
I mean, I do as part of my parents' health insurance plan, but it's completely independent of DoorDash. No, I believe that I could be wrong about this, but I believe some level of insurance is part of the top Dasher plan where you get more than 70%.
Oh, nice.
So it's another way for them to coax you into taking on the worst orders.
Yeah. Has there been any dangerous situations that you've been in?
Definitely had some sketchy DoorDash delivery situations. I have one, but it might be a little NSFW.
You can still tell it. It's okay.
Want me to tell it?
Yeah.
Okay, you can edit it out if you're not, but
Mm-hmm.
one time I had an order where the customer put the wrong street address in. It was on the right street, but like way on the other side of the street.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was this kind of neighborhood, wasn't the best neighborhood. And this address that was wrong, my GPS is telling me to go on this like off-road area down to this like little shack way off the road. And I knock on the door, and this woman comes out and is like, "Who are you? What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm DoorDash, got food." It's like, "I ain't doing a DoorDash," and she like ran me off. And then I just start checking like the next house over, and there's a truck outside, and there's people in the truck. They're doing something I can't see. I'm like, okay, this might be the food. So I kind of like get out to the truck and I wave at them, and I could see like a woman like kind of rise up from being slumped over. I'm like, did you get DoorDash? She just looks at me and not shakes her head, and they're just looking at me. I'm like, and I'm 90% sure I ran on them having oral sex.
See.
But yeah. But I do try to avoid sketchy situations, like unsafe. Like I don't DoorDash in like the main New Orleans area. Like the only area in New Orleans I'll DoorDash in is Metairie, and then besides that, I'll DoorDash in like Slidell or Covington or something.
I see.
Mhm.
Well, probably just like a few more questions
Mhm.
here. Good. Said a lot of really good information. So thank you.
Mhm.
I guess I want to say, like, has it been stressful for you overall?
No, I would not say it's been stressful.
That's good.
Although I am at the moment trying to ditch DoorDash for Uber Eats because my friend Duranze, who does DoorDash much more professionally than I do, much more often, recently switched over to Uber Eats. And he says he makes a lot more money. And I've ridden with him when he does Uber Eats, and he looks like he gets much better orders, and they treat him a lot better. But my problem is, when I submitted my information to Uber Eats, I had like some incorrect information on my driver's license, and like, oh, you're not approved. Like, oh no, let me fix the information, and like, we can't fix this. But it's changed. I had it wrong, and so I'm in like the middle of this like month-long customer support battle to get myself approved over a little mistake. And so I'm still fighting because what I've seen from my friend, Uber Eats pays a lot better. It's a much better experience, at least in the city, than DoorDash.
I see. Yeah. I guess I just want to ask if you have any, like, overall statements or, like...
Well, a lot of one time I was on like an online comment section, and someone brought up this thing about DoorDash. I forgot what it was. It was like, man, I don't know how to treat DoorDash people right. And I was like I said, oh yeah, I'm a DoorDash driver, and I get bull crap all the time. And the guy was like, how can we help you more than we help the corporation? Because a lot of times people say sometimes the tips go to the company and not you. And I'm like, well, if you really want to help out, you could maybe tip both in the app and in cash, and that post got like 15 downvotes. So people are like, how can we help you? Oh, help me by giving me more money. And they're like, no, we're not gonna do that. So I mean, yeah, so if you want, in all honesty, the amount of tip you give a DoorDash or Uber driver, more likely than not, will have a direct effect on how pleasant an experience you get. It will definitely affect how fast your food comes.
Yeah. And does the company keep the tip?
No, no. But what the problem is that sometimes the third-party system that links the restaurant and the company, the restaurant will keep some of the tip sometimes. That happens sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, restaurants deserve to be getting fairly paid.
Yeah, but actually, there's a whole topic about how DoorDash and these apps are actually really bad for business for restaurants.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these times, these restaurants do have their own professional delivery service independent of any apps.
Yeah.
But they have to partner with DoorDash because they're more well known, and most people just don't know they have their own delivery services. And then DoorDash takes a cut of the revenue, and it's just bad for business overall. And I kind of feel bad about that because I sympathize for the businesses, but I'm also a DoorDash driver trying to make money. Yeah. So it's like, oh man, I'm part of the problem.
I heard an interesting story one time on a podcast. Basically, it was like this pizza restaurant out in like Nebraska or something was didn't voluntarily sign up for DoorDash, but DoorDash like signed them up for it.
Oh, against their will?
Against their will, basically. But they found out, the guy who ran the pizza restaurant found out that if you order a pizza through the restaurant through DoorDash, it costs less than the restaurant actually charges for pizza inside the restaurant, because DoorDash was doing a promotion. So the restaurant owner basically just ended up ordering himself pizzas on DoorDash all day and just making free money off of that.
I wish I could do that. That sounds incredible.
It was really funny.
Did they ever like fight him back on that, or like?
They stopped it eventually, but
you get to keep all that free money he made.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Thanks for doing this.
Yeah.
Trying to think if there's like any final things. Yeah. Sounds like you're on the internet, like in DoorDash communities and stuff like that. It just makes me think like it's a modern type of company. It's like an internet company, and so they have these like.
Well, to be fair, the DoorDash online communities are not run by DoorDash. They're run by Dashers, and they talk bad about the company all the time, so they're not officially by DoorDash.
Right, and it's like modern problems require modern solutions. Yeah, well, I hope that someday they'll figure out the problem of paying people a fair wage for their work.
The solution is probably just the CEO takes a zero off their paycheck, you know?
Yeah.
But that's never going to happen, so.
Okay. I have to take a picture of you, so.
Alright, you can take a picture of me.